From Rolling Stone, Chiefs kicker spreads anti-Semitic lies in Benedictine college graduation speech. Harrison Butker, I can't say his name right, claimed Congress passed a bill where stating something as basic as the biblical teaching of who killed Jesus could land you in jail. This from Rolling Stone, the ultra-left publication that's turned into just another mouthpiece of the state and of the narrative that's being pushed of ultra wokeism, which of course is a religion of itself, and we'll explain more into that in a moment here. But he's also being accused, of course, of being sexist. And one thing that caught my eye was that the Swifties, Taylor Swift and her crew of cronies, has been going after Harrison Butker. So he did a speech where he was condemning Pride Month and abortion, and of course President Joe Biden, and the left is out of their fucking mind. Now, I just so you guys know, I'm not left or right. I'm somewhere in the middle because I think that the extreme on both sides are just insane. And I feel like people need to come back and chill the fuck out because this is crazy stuff here. So let's start with the Taylor Swift quote, which I posted on my Instagram here, so we can just listen to this
by borrowing a line from a song written by a certain famous surveillance video.
Sorry.
Butker also mentioning priests who become too familiar with parishioners, illustrating his point by borrowing a line from a song written by a certain famous teammate's girlfriend.
Because as my teammate's girlfriend says, familiarity breeds contempt.
That line from Taylor Swift's Bejeweled quickly drawing the ire of Swifties. One writing, "I didn't think you grasped the message of the Taylor Swift song you quoted. Go listen to all her albums as homework." The NFL reacting to the speech, saying Harrison Butker gave a speech in his personal capacity. His views are not those of the NFL as an organization. The NFL is steadfast in our commitment to inclusion, which only makes our league stronger. Butker also...
So there you go. That's just a quick video, and that's just one piece of it where he pulls in Taylor Swift's line that familiarity breeds contempt, which is an old saying that goes back a long, long time. And he was referencing how priests are so willing, especially Catholic priests, are so willing to bend the doctrine in order to placate to modern times, whereas you have a lot of people who are very strict. Like, he's a very strict Catholic, so he takes the Bible very seriously and what the Bible says about homosexuality, the place of a woman. He's basically saying that these priests are becoming so familiar with people that people are starting to turn on them, right? And they're starting to not appreciate, because there are strict Catholics out there who are like, why are these priests doing these things? Why are they bending to the woke mob? And so let's read through a couple of things. Dude is clueless. Let's see what they say. I said, he is just religious talking to students at a religious school. I don't agree with all that he says, but he is talking to people that share his values. And of course, someone is like, quit Okay. This guy says, quit giving this guy any attention at all. Just stop. He is hoping to get fired and draw attention to himself. I doubt if that's what he wants. It's intolerant people that want him fired. And it's true. So a big thing that's going on here, and the big part of this discussion, is that Harrison Butker was talking to a Catholic school. I believe it's a woman's all-girls school, and he is telling these women, that abortion's bad, and that being married and having children is a beautiful part of life, and of course it's a way to celebrate God. Go forth, be fruitful, and multiply, right? he's talking to his own crowd that share in his own values. So I understand that people don't agree with him. Of course, I don't agree with everything he's saying. I'm all about abortion. I mean, I'm not all about it. Like, yeah, abortion, bro. But I'm all about women's choice. He's going after IVF. Uh, he's going after Jewish influence on politics, which what he's saying, according to this new law that Congress passed through but never went past the Senate or was never put into play. It was mostly a show of like a protest sort of thing and a response to the colleges and the rampant anti-Semitism that's going on in the universities right now towards the Jews. There is a line in it that says that having people believe that Jesus was killed by Jews was going to be illegal. Now, can they do that? We've gone through this. They have the Jewish, the people that influence and pay these politicians do push these anything where you divest from supporting Israel or doing business with Israel. In some states that is illegal, so it's not outside the realm of possibilities. But I'm not here to discuss Jewish stuff. We're talking about Harrison Butker. So I'm just saying that some of the things he is saying is touching on real things that people are making him into some kind of conspiracy theorist, i.e. Rolling Stone. So Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker kicked the Hornets' nest last weekend when he encouraged the women of Benedictine College's 2024 graduate class to embrace their roles as wives and homemakers rather than putting their degrees to use. Now, did he say that? No, he didn't say that. He did not say that don't use your degree, just go have babies. That's not what he said. He's taking that all out of context. Now, Charlie Kirk, whether you like him or hate him, I don't agree with everything he says, but he is in that realm of people who are telling the truth to the best of their ability. And I'm not saying what he says is truth, and I'm not saying what is doctrine or anything. What I'm saying is that he is outside of like CNN, the legacy media, which we all know, Fox News, all of them are just mouthpieces of the state and pushing a specific narrative. I look at Charlie Kirk, Tim Pool, even Young Turks, Anna Kasparian. She's been on there talking that shit. People on the left. These are people who are in the independent media realm that are telling the truth to the best of their of what they know, right, and what they believe. And Charlie Kirk is one of them. And I don't agree with everything he says, but he makes some decent points. Harrison Butker went to a Catholic college and delivered a speech to Catholic graduates affirming Catholic doctrine. He has literally moved to tears when describing how much his wife means to him. He called out and attacked the lies that millions of young women have been told, lies which leave many of them lonely and miserable. And he's talking about feminism and how you're seeing now these feminists who are getting older and they're like, ooh, biology starts kicking in and they want children and they want their relationship. And you have HOMAth. If you guys are familiar with HOMAth, I love HOMAth because they really describe it. Because when you're looking for a solid partner and a mate and somebody who is making good money and who takes care of themselves and has their shit together, they're not looking for people who were like very promiscuous. And not all the time, right? They're not looking for promiscuous women who had fun partying, who would have never gave them the time of day back in the day when they were broke. And now that their biology started kicking in, they're getting older, they're getting less appealing to, men that they feel that they deserve. feminism kind of lied about that. Like you can't have it all like women who have children and who are in high positions of power in corporate companies or whatever it is. You do find that they end up having nannies who are raising their children. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging women who want to have careers. By all means, do it. But like, if you think that you're going to have a healthy relationship with someone who's being raised by someone else, if you're going to have a strong bond with that person who's being raised and taught and educated by someone else, well, I don't know if that's absolutely an absolute, right? There is a point in a woman's life where they have to make that decision. It's like, do I want to be a mom, or am I going to try to keep doing all this stuff and be, pursue power and, do all the things that men want to do and men do. And I think that if you don't want to have children in that position, fine. If you do want to have children in that position, fine. I'm all about freedom. I'm not judging anybody, but there is some harsh truths to the world where you do have to pick where you're going to put your energy, because we only have so many minutes in the day, so many seconds in our lives, so many hours to spend it with people you love, or spending it pursuing power or money or whatever it is. I'm not saying that you should go broke and just live your life around your children, or, be a housewife or anything like that. But there is some harsh realities that come with it. And there's harsh realities with biology and women who are getting older and having this idea that men, they want these men who are tens, who make over $100,000 a year, who have abs, who drive Mercedes, and you've been out hoeing and again, I'm no judgment, baby. Go on, get yours. But you've been out there, you've been fucking, you've been saying this is the peak liberation. You got WAP, W-A-P, baby, WAP, 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 bucket and a mop. You've been doing all that stuff that society has been telling you is okay now for women to just go do all that stuff. And then when your biology kicks in and all of a sudden you want those things, you want a family, you want children, you want a man who is able and willing to take care of you, and you're 35 and you're you're aging out of that opportunity. Now, not all the time. I'm not saying this is how it is always, but it is a lie to tell women that they can just have it all the time, because men can't have it all the time either. So there are some lies being perpetrated through the state, through the narrative, through society, through music, that you can just go around hoeing out, have a bunch of kids out of wedlock or something, and then expect some man to come in and be Captain Save-A-Ho. Doesn't work like that all the time. But hey, be you, be bad. I don't care. Listen, if a woman wants to have 6 kids with 6 different dudes, I mean, that's on them, right? And I'm all about welfare too. Like, I'm all about the state helping take care of those children. So call me whatever you want, but there are harsh realities to this world that we have to take into account. And when he is talking about lies being told to young women, that's some of the stuff that he's referring to. So professional sports is full of criminals, domestic abusers, and men. Did I feel it? He called out and attacked the lies that millions of young women have been told, lies which leave many of them lonely and miserable rather than fulfilled and happy, which domestic life is fulfilling. And my wife right now is in that process, because my wife was the one who was making most of the money, or the most money, right? Which made me feel like a fucking loser, which is just something ingrained in the men, right? And now I'm sort of taking that role of being more of a provider, and she's taking more of the role of homeschooling. We just had a daughter, taking care of the children. So we're starting to transition into her being more a traditional mom. And it's interesting how trad moms get shit on. They really do. Like, they're the problem. Like, moms who just want to be women, who wanted their feminine energy put towards raising beautiful children and keeping a home and cleaning and cooking and doing all those things. People are shitting on them, and it's very sad. Like, who cares? Who cares if people want to live a traditional woman role? It's how it was for thousands of years. And again, I'm not saying that it was right, because there was a lot of terrible situations that happened within those traditional roles that hurt women. But, again, it was traditional, and it was like this for a long time for a reason. There's a reason why people gravitate towards religion and gravitate towards the tenets of religion, and why they were doing that for thousands of years, right? Until, 100 years or so ago, right? When women's liberation, which is, again, I'm all about women being boss bitches and being bad and living their best life, and go to Miami for spring break, fuck a million dudes and women, and who cares? Like, live your life, party, be young, and enjoy life. I don't care. Do you? This is a free country where you get to do that. But we cannot sit here and act like there's not consequences to this sorts of behavior. And whether or not you're religious or believe in energy or crystals or whatever, you do lose a part of yourself when you're out there just popping your pussy at any dude or throwing your dick around, right? I know men will say it's different for men, but you are still inserting your energy into somebody. You are putting a part of yourself into someone else, right? You are transferring energy every time you do that. So there is something about that. I mean, there's been some, midnight trysts that has come down the line for me that left me feeling the next day. So, that happens a lot with women. It happens a lot with men, and you do lose a little piece of yourself to that. Anyways, that's just my personal belief. If you feel like you're creating goddess or god energy by fucking everything that walks, hey, cool, do you. Professional sports is full of criminals, domestic abusers, and men with a half dozen children that they don't raise. Now, that could be perceived as racist by some people, but it's true. There's a lot of that goes on. For the press to smear a brave, devout family man as an anti-Semitic, sexist pig is disgusting. I stand with Harrison Butker, and of course Charlie Kirk does. Hold on. I just received a push notification which sent millions of people from Microsoft. It links to Rolling Stone's piece filled with disgraceful partisan lies and X Media Matters lick spittle. So we're going to go through that Rolling Stone thing. But let's see. We need less Colin Kaepernicks, but more Harrison Butkers. I supported Colin Kaepernick, by the way. I was all about it. I knew some people very close to me were like, I can't believe he's doing that. And I was like, this is a fucking America. Let him fucking kneel if he feels that, if he's trying to get something across. Now, it cost him his career. Freedom of speech, not freedom of consequence. But I support it because I support peaceful protest. And if that's how he wanted to peacefully protest police brutality and bringing attention to the subject, I fucking supported that all the way. Again, I don't give a shit about football. I don't care, but I do support a peaceful way of bringing a message forth. And I was all about Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. So here's some of the things he said.
Congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. For the ladies present today, congratulations.
So, what's he saying there? He said, some of you are going to go on and pursue careers, and that's great, right? Like, he wasn't saying, hey, bitch, get back in the kitchen and fucking have babies. No, he wasn't saying that at all, right? Like, he was saying some of you are going to go on and do stuff. That's regular shit. They're going to on and they're going to fulfill their lives in a career. And then he said, most of you are going to want, or some of you or most of you. And again, this is a Catholic college where you're supposed to be Catholic and, you know, like you're supposed to be sharing in the values and you have to take Catholic religious courses there to get your degree. He's speaking to his audience, right? His people. He's Catholic, a devout Catholic. By the way, his mom, I think, is a doctor, and his sister is like, you know, a high-end somebody, you know. So I don't think he has a problem with women pursuing life and pursuing, you know, success in the business world or anywhere else. He's just saying that a lot of you are going to go on and want to have children, and that's okay. He's saying, like, don't let society's pressure you to do things that you feel like you feel like you have to go out and use your degree to do something. You have a degree. That's beautiful. And if anything ever happens in your family where your husband's incapacitated, right? This happens all the time where the husband, who might be the provider, he ends up having an accident at work or he dies all of a sudden. And now it's on the mom to have to step up and start taking care of your kids. No, hey, you have a degree. You've been taking care of your kids all these years, and it's a shitty position to be in, but now you do have a way forward, and you do have something, and that's beautiful. Women should be educated. Women should go out and educate themselves and go pursue careers if they want, but it's okay to have babies. Who gives a shit? Who cares if they have babies? And people are so fucking mad. Let's see. This
lie that has been told to you. That I want to speak directly that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. As men, we set the tone of the culture. And when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos set in. This absence of men in the home is what plays a large role in the violence we see all around the nation. Other countries do not have nearly the same absentee father rates as we find here in the U.S., and a correlation could be made in their drastically lower violence rates as well. Be unapologetic in your masculinity, fighting against the cultural emasculation of men. Do hard things. Never settle for what is easy. You might have a talent that you don't necessarily enjoy, but if it glorifies God, maybe you should lean into that over something that you might think suits you better. Part of what plagues our society.
So, I mean, he's saying, oh, I didn't know you could pause it.
Society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our community.
So, and of course, he is hitting that. Like, there's those videos where it's like, where they ask women, do you need a man? They're like, no, I don't need a man. I don't need shit. There is a whatever clip that I have here that I find very interesting. Because women are taught, you don't need a man, you don't need shit. I mean, my wife's grandmother was very much that. She was, she was very much, she was an artist. She was very independent, but she always had a husband, right, who was taking care of her. But she don't need men. And she would say that, I don't need men. And she would run through her husbands. And she'd always get good husbands who had money and who could take care of her. She wasn't dating no broke ninja, right? So, this is a topic that gets brought up a lot on whatever, and you can think whatever you want about whatever, but like he makes a really solid point here.
I love men. Like, I think men are the coolest, but I don't need them to survive.
You do actually need men to survive, and here's why. Everything that you see around you was built and created and maintained by men.
Okay.
Everything. The infrastructure in this country, in every single country in the world, is built created and maintained by good, honest, hardworking men that just want to provide for their family. Everything, the roads you drive on, the buildings you live in.
I love men. Like,
And he makes a solid point, right? Like, do we need men? Yes. And is there a correlation between single parent households and violence, especially with young men and the boys of that family? Yes, there is. We can see it. The numbers are out. The absence of fathers. He's also talking about emasculating men, right? Making it like men are just toxic masculinity. Now, I'm not saying there's not toxic masculinity, because there definitely is toxic masculinity, but they want to say things like working out is toxic masculinity, and fucking, standing up for yourself is toxic. Like, what, you want just a bunch of beta, like men? Here's the funny thing about women in biology is, like, women aren't necessarily attracted to fucking beta bitches, right? Soy boys who don't, who placate to everything they say and who bow down. Women can say whatever they want, but more than not, women do go for a certain type of dude. And I'm not saying some fucking Jock Lloyd fucking who's all on steroids, who's like beating dudes up and getting in fights because he's insecure and his dick's small. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about dudes who fucking build roads, build houses, are electricians, plumbers, people who use their hands, who build the stuff around us, who put their lives on the line so we can be safe at night. And I'm not saying women aren't doing that. There are women construction workers, but how many women construction workers do you know? How many? How many dude construction workers do you know? Right? So men who take care of business, who don't take shit, who stand up for their beliefs, who are unapologetically masculine, is not toxic masculinity. It's just being a dude. And to sit there and like, it's Destiny. Did you guys see Destiny cucking on Kick? Blech. Anyways, I don't know if we should bring that up. Destiny cuck vacation. Let's see if this comes up. Oh, it's his ex-wife? I didn't know it was his ex-wife now. They're not together. Well, I wonder why. They're not together.
Quinn, what do you think about cuckolding?
Cuckolding.
A cuckold is?
Wait,
The most famous cuckold in the world.
My God. Normally, whenever me and Melina would travel, we would usually only do cuck stuff for a single night. But because Nim, I guess she really wanted like somebody who was like Middle Eastern and had like a 15-inch dick or whatever, because it's like 4 times bigger than mine, I had to do it for 4 nights. So they would lock me in the corner of the room and I would be getting cucked over and over and over again. It's a brutal trip. It was such a horrible.
Let's play that actually one more time. I want Quinn to really listen to that and hear that one more time.
It was such a horrible trip. Oh my God. Normally, whenever me and Melina would travel.
Yeah, man. There's a reason why she was out fucking dudes with 15-inch dicks, right? It's because beta fucking... I'm going to go ahead and say Zeta Destiny, which, man, I agree with Destiny with a lot of stuff. But there's some stuff that's just like, he's just so left sometimes. It's ridiculous. And anyways, and Norman Finkelstein on the Lex Friedman podcast, when he kept on calling him a Wikipedia, he's like, you got your information from Wikipedia. He just called him an idiot. You don't even know or begin to know what you're talking about. I love that he said that, all that. But, there's a reason why women tend to go towards that masculine dude, and where Destiny's here cucking on Kick. Imagine cucking on Kick. Anyways, there is a certain type of women, a man that a lot of women go for, and no matter what people want to think or what women say, let's see. Do women need men? Let's see if it comes up like a short. The one where he's asking. Here we go.
Do we need men?
No.
Do we need men?
Honestly, no.
Do we need men?
No.
Why?
Because they suck.
Now they're giving stats, right? So they got stats for 98% men do construction, 92% are firefighters, 90% are pilots,
Go be a plumber.
82% are farmers,
Operate as a plumber for 9 hours.
landscapers, 90.
See if you can cut it for a single day in a manual labor job.
Police,
virtually only men do.
fishermen.
And then you'll see exactly how many.
Oh, and this is Benny Johnson. This is a Benny Johnson video. I like Benny. So, you know, it's pretty obvious that men are essential to our society, but so are women. Can we, I mean, like, again, I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on women. Again, I am all about women going out and being boss bitches and fucking every dude she sees or owning her femininity or whatever you want to call it. But we do have harsh truths that people need to come to terms with and not just react like you're misogynist for saying things that are true. And that's where we're at right now, and that's ridiculous, right? The culture, whoever controls the language controls the culture, and culture is downwind, or was it downriver from politics? So like all these things matter. They all feed into each other. So let's go through this article from Rolling Stones, which is just, if there ever was a cuck of a magazine, it would be Rolling Stone. Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker kicked the Hornets' nest last weekend when he encouraged the women of Benedictine College's 2024 graduate class to embrace their roles as wives and homemakers rather than putting their degrees to use. Of course, we went through that. That is not true. Lying. While the speech drew widespread criticism for his characterization of women and LGBTQ plus people, Butker also promoted an insidious piece of anti-Semitic misinformation. And this is a quote directly. I want to speak to you directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have the most diabolical lies told to you, Butker said in the commencement speech. Some of you may go on, okay, we already did that. What was the anti-Semitic thing? They just set it up, I guess. The three-time Super Bowl champion went on to describe how his wife Isabella never achieved her dream of having a career, but that if you ask her today if she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud and without hesitation and say, hey, no. Which, I mean, I don't know if that's true, but it seems like he married an educated woman and she decided to have a family, which is totally fine. Who gives a shit? Of course, Butker earns millions of dollars per year as an NFL player, so a second income isn't exactly necessary. Ironically enough, which he's a provider, right? Ironically enough, during his commencement speech, Butker quoted Taylor Swift, a woman who has built a wildly successful career and billion-dollar fortune without a husband, who is now dating Butker's teammate, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. You know what's interesting about that? What they're saying is that she has built a career on the men that she has dated. She's built her billion-dollar career on the men that she has dated and left. Familiarity breeds contempt towards men. She's talking about dudes. Dudes are why she's a billionaire. She goes out, fucks dudes, and then she makes fucking money off of the stupid songs she writes. I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan, but I do respect the hustle. Again, I respect the hustle. And let's not forget that her father and mother are involved in managing her. Okay, so there is a man behind the scenes. There is a man who invested his money because he had success. I believe her dad had like successful businesses. Don't quote me on that, but I know that they come from some kind of upper middle class money. So they were able to invest in her career to get her on her place. You're not telling me that there's no men behind the scenes booking these shows? You're not telling me that it's men who are building these stages and driving the trucks and the buses? I'm not saying that it's all men, but you're telling me that the people who are facilitating Taylor Swift's career aren't men. There's no men involved without a husband. So the fuck what? You don't have to be married to fucking appreciate that men fucking are a big part of why you're successful. I mean, down to the fucking men she fucks. Rolling Stone, everybody. Butker, a devout Catholic, also claimed that Congress just passed a bill where they're stating something as basic as a biblical teaching of who killed Jesus could land you in jail, which it says it right in the bill. If you guys go read it, this is a reference to the Republican-led House of Representatives passing a bill that would threaten federal funding for colleges and universities that fail to restrict anti-Semitic speech, which I don't agree with, because whether it's anti-Semitic, anti-black, anti-gay, anti-white, anti-straight, as long as they're peaceful and not breaking the law, it's all good. It's in a public place. They have their permits. I don't care if they hate Jews, blacks, or white people. They have their right to say and be heard and protest. So take that for however you want. The controversial legislation was almost certainly designed to limit speech criticizing Israel, but it would also target claims of Jews killing Jesus. Some conservative... They say it right in the fucking article. It does. It limits speech criticizing Israel, but it would also target claims of Jews killing Jesus, which is what's in the Bible. His Bible that he reads. I'm not religious. I was born Catholic, but I don't give a shit about fucking Sky Daddy like that. I have my beliefs of God and such, but all this Jesus or Allah and fucking the Jew shit, I don't care about any of that. That stuff is so ridiculous and so dividing. I have my relationship with God. I have conversations with God, with myself, but I don't hold fast to fucking the wizard who walks on water and creates wine and shit. Like, miss me with that. Okay, so I'm not invested in this. But I'm mature enough to understand that there are people out there who really do give a shit. That's why we have extremists on all sides. You have Christians blowing up abortion clinics, which is not so much now. You have Muslims who are fucking blowing up Jewish temples. You have Israelis who are demolishing entire groups of Muslims in Gaza. So please, miss me with that shit. But I understand that there are people who take this very seriously to the point of murder. So, some conservative lawmakers oppose the bill on the basis arguing it would effectively outlaw the classic anti-Semitic belief that Jews killed Jesus. So, in the bill, they get done saying, in the bill, it says that, and then they go ahead and refute it. To be clear, though, the bill threatens university funding, not jail time for bigots. It has not been voted on in the Senate, right? And still, even if it's funding for colleges, it's stupid to limit anyone's speech in that capacity. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said she opposed the legislation because it could convict Christians of anti-Semitism for believing that the gospel that says Jesus has handed over the Herod crucified the Jews. The gospel itself would meet the definition of anti-Semitism under the terms bill. Oh, gosh. Man. I just spilled everything, guys. These statements are a misinterpretation of Catholic doctrine, and while the biblical gospels do say that Jesus was presented before Jewish leadership of Judea for judgment, he was ultimately condemned to death by the Roman governor Pontius Pilate. Historically claims that Jews were ultimately responsible for the... Yeah, well, there you go. They say it right here. Jesus was presented before the Jewish leadership of Judea for judgment. That led to Pontius Pilate fucking condemning him to death. Shut the fuck up, Rolling Stone. You just said it. 2011 Pope Benedict the 15th, I don't know, then head of Catholic Church, declared that there was no basis in Scripture that would hold Jews in collective guilt. for the death of Jesus. Okay, so there you go. In the Benedictine College speech, Butker also said things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerative cultural values in media all stem from pervasiveness of disorder. And I don't agree with that, right? I do think euthanasia is one of those things that came out of that. But again, I'm all about abortion. What's wrong with IVF, surrogacy? Like, seriously, fucking religious people, who gives a fuck? But they do. They do care. And that's a part of their life. And if that's the life they want to live, then let them live that life. Also, if they want to collectively come together and pass legislation that fucking makes this happen, well, then you better get your ass up and go fucking vote and stop just complaining, because you're letting them come in and do their thing and pass their legislation that might outlaw these types of things. Like with the abortion thing. If we were so concerned, if the Democrats were so concerned about abortion being, being the law of the land, then they should have fucking did something about it when it was Obama and it was a Democrat-controlled Senate and Congress, and they didn't do it. They didn't codify it, did they? Because to them, it was too much of a sticky situation, and it's our fault because we elect these fucking criminals who will say anything to get what they want and then just do what they're paid to do by our oligarchies that control them. Euthanasia is one of the ones that is disconcerting to me. I just saw this video of a Dutch woman. Depression. Let's see if this comes up. Yeah, here we go. Let's just go to BBC. Wait, is this her? No, the other girl was hot. This girl's not hot. Where's the video? I want to see the video. Here we go. This is the hot chick. Let's see. Like, this girl is hot. She has a boyfriend who loves her, and she's just going to be allowed to go murder herself? Like, that seems wild to me. This fucking ad. Sorry, guys. Come on. Out of 2! The young, physically healthy Dutch woman who decided to be euthanized because of her crippling depression has been granted approval to end her life. Officials in the Netherlands gave the final approval to Zoraya Terbeek, 29, to die by assisted suicide. All right, so this is, what is this? 28-year-old woman decides to be euthanized. She fucking... Where's the video of her talking? This is stupid, and we sat through those stupid things. Let's get her name going here. Here we go. Boom. I don't know how to say that. I'm not even gonna try to say it. My boss is from the Netherlands, and he is such a douchebag. Okay, here we go. This is her.
Hello. My name is Soraya, and I'm 28 years old. I live in the Netherlands, and recently my euthanasia request for my mental suffering got approved.
Zoraya Terbeek is 28, and she expects to be euthanized in early May. She is one of a growing number of people across the West choosing to end their lives rather than live in pain. Pain that in many cases can be treated. Zoraya once had ambitions to become a psychiatrist, but she was never able to muster the will to finish school or start a career.
By the way, she's hot as fuck, dude. Okay, she's hot as fuck, and she's in her 20s, and she's like, I'm too sad to go on. Look, I'm not trying to discount depression because I've got it. I've had a hard time with it. But to see this young woman who is obviously beautiful, wants to be a psychologist, wants to help people, and the people around them who she's seeking treatment is telling her the best thing that they can do is offer her death. That's fucked up. And I can see why people who are religious would be against that. Now, for me personally, I'm all about freedom. And if somebody wants to go euthanize themselves because they're sad, then fuck it, bye. That's just how I am. It doesn't affect me. Go ahead, do it. I don't really care. Other than that's a hot piece right there that we're gonna lose. The world's gonna lose another hot piece, right?
She says she was hobbled by her depression and autism and borderline personality disorder. Now she was tired of living, despite, she said, being in love with her boyfriend, a 40-year-old IT programmer, and living in a nice house with their 2 cats.
She living in a nice house with her 2 cats? Sounds like a great life.
Recalled to me her psychiatrist telling her that they had tried everything.
Right here's what
quote,
fucks me up.
There's nothing more we can do for you. It's never going to get any better. At that point, she said she decided to die.
Could you imagine if your psychiatrist told you, there's nothing we can do? You're not gonna try any other medication. You can't try anything else. Like, did she go through all the medication? We don't know, because I don't think they even tell us what she does. I can't help you. I've seen that happen in cases like for cancer, where we've done everything we can do. You're gonna die. That is not how mental health works.
Quote, I was always very clear that if it doesn't get better, I can't do this anymore. In 2022, the most recent year for which there is data, Dutch officials recorded 8,720 cases of euthanasia, a 13.7% increase from 2021, when there were 7,666 cases. To put this in perspective, there were a total of 170,100 deaths in the Netherlands in 2022, meaning euthanasia cases comprised more than 5% of all deaths. Now, typically, when we think of people who are considering...
That is a lot of, that's a lot of deaths, bro. Wow. That's incredible.
Assisted suicide, we think of people facing terminal illness. But this new group is suffering from other syndromes, depression or anxiety exacerbated, they say, by economic uncertainty, the climate, social media, and a seemingly limitless array of fears and disappointments. I spoke to a healthcare ethics professor who served for a decade on a euthanasia review board in the Netherlands from 2005 until 2014. He told me in those years he saw, quote, the Dutch euthanasia practice evolve from death being a last resort to death being a default option. He ultimately resigned. For my story for the Free Press, I investigate whether suicide, assisted dying, and euthanasia are a sign of human empowerment or a sign that we're in a dystopian world where core human values are disintegrating. You can read,
And that's a good question, right? Like, is it a dystopian disintegration of society we're in? And it feels like it is. It really does. Coming back to our wonderfully written Rolling Stones fucking cuck piece. So is it like he believes that it is a pervasiveness of disorder and basically dystopian disintegration of society and the and human life, the value of a human life just down to nothing, right? Like, we just don't consider it. And when you think of the countries that have the least amount of empathy for human life, you see war, you see death, you see just absolutely just chaos. It's the value of life that makes a society fight for it. Otherwise, who cares? And that's where we're kind of going, right? Like, we're just handing out drug needles and stuff to people on fentanyl. We're just allowing people to shoot up and just rob places in open daylight. We're just sort of allowing the people to disintegrate into lawlessness, which disintegrates into a lack of empathy for other people, which, you know, it breeds resentment, right? The familiarity of this breeds resentment. And you start putting people as others, right? And that's what we've done. We've made them into anti-vaxxers, Trump supporters, fucking, fucking pro-LGBT, fucking Antifa, right? Whatever it is, we've sort of othered other people, and that's where we're going with this division. We're going down to this road where we're sort of lacking empathy for other people and not even trying to see where they're coming from. Because I am trying to see where this other side is coming from, where the extreme left is coming from. And I think that it does, in some weird way, come from a place of love and positivity, but it mostly leads to people just acquiring power. That Marxist ideology, all for me, none for thee. When you think of like BLM, for instance, and how they basically took all that money and bought mansions and, got their family members all fucking fitted up, and nothing has gotten better in black communities, right? I mean, they brought attention to police violence, which is great, but it turned into give me all the money and we're not giving you guys anything. It's all us, all for me, none for thee. And that's what happens, is that it just turns into a power chase. And it's the classic communist outcomes, right? He specifically criticized Joe Biden for being pro-choice, saying that the president proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally. Look, this is what they believe. Who gives a shit? You believe that you can go fuck dudes for women empowerment. You can fuck 1,000 dudes and that's women empowerment, okay? And I'm for that. I'm also for Joe Biden being pro-choice as a Catholic, right? I'm all about fucking abortion. Again, I'm not like, yeah, abortion, but to me, it's now when we're talking about late-term abortions, that's where it gets weird, right? But let's not get too far. The speech wasn't the NFL's first foray into abortion debate in 2022. Butker started a misleading TV ad campaign promoting a failed Kansas ballot measure that would have ended constitutional protections for abortion in the state so that lawmakers could ban the procedure. Well, let's see what this is.
Hey, it's Harrison Butker, kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. There's a lot of misinformation out there on the Value Them Both amendment, but here's the real game plan. This amendment will let Kansans decide what we do on abortion, not judges and not DC politicians. Without this amendment, even barbaric late-term abortions will be allowed. Early voting is underway, and Election Day is Tuesday, August 2nd. Join the team and vote yes.
Well, there you go. I mean, he's held this belief for a while now, right? Let's see. In an odd coincidence, Leo gave okay, hold on. Let's see. The ad campaign was funded by the dark money group Catholic Vote Civic Action, which in turn was bankrolled by the dark money network led by Leonard Leo, who is best known as the architect of the conservative Supreme Court supermajority that overturned Roe v. Wade and allowed states to ban abortion. Again, we don't hold our politicians responsible. When Democrats had a chance to codify it, they didn't. They chose not to, and that's our fault for choosing fucking cowards. In an odd coincidence, Leo gave Benedictine College's commencement speech last year, giving a similarly right-wing speech warning the modern-day barbarians, secularists, and bigots who are determined to threaten and delegitimize individuals and institutions who refuse to pledge fealty to the woke idols of our age. And I think that is a huge part of this, right? Yes, that is a very true statement. They want to bend the knee to the woke religious intolerant bigots because they're not afraid to be racist. They're not afraid to be intolerant to people that don't agree with them. they're just as pious as these fucking Catholics, right? These people, these extreme leftists who think that fucking, everything they say is gospel. It's like, get the fuck out of my face. It's turned into a religion of its own. Because if you don't believe in something, you'll believe in anything. And this is what people have been drawn to, right? So there is also stuff about him. Now, there is accusations that Butker hooked up with a male cheerleader, but it was just some TikToker talking shit, and there's no validity to it. There is a petition going on that has 200,000 signatures to try to get Harrison Butker kicked off the Kansas City Chiefs. And let's see some of these people who, you could just look at these people and see.
I wanted to make this video because I'm a Catholic and I'm the father of a boy and a girl. I think this video is abhorrent. This statement from this Chiefs player is abhorrent. And I don't want my children thinking that because of their sex, they're worth less or should be entitled to less.
Right. You can tell someone who just listens to their bubble of information, and that's it. That obviously is that bloke right there. Let's see what this lady with big glasses and red hair has to say. I'm interested.
Hi, my name is Mercedes, and I strongly believe that this man should be dismissed from the Chiefs. Because for him to think that women are simply housewives and that for them to get an education is outrageous, it is completely sexist. Women have every right to an education. We have the right to better ourselves.
He didn't say they didn't have a right to it.
We don't live in the, 1700s anymore. This is 2024.
He didn't say any of that. So again, staying in your bubble there.
Harrison being so discriminatory to women in general, especially women who worked and use their time and money for something and pursued that. And
okay, you're boring.
My name is Amelia. I'm a high schooler who is about to go to college in August.
Of course, Amelia, the high schooler, is going to have some really intriguing and provocative things to say. Let's hear what Amelia has to say.
And my dream is to be an investigative journalist.
You can do
that. I
that.
do not plan to have kids in the future.
That's fine.
And I would like that wish to be respected.
It is.
That's all I ask for in life, to be respected as a woman. And yeah. I'm sick of this. I really am.
Are you? Are you sick of it? Because you're limited by what Harrison Butker is saying. Again, he said none of this stuff. And you can go on to be an investigative journalist. And I support you. Don't want to have children. I mean, you're, 16, 17? Things change. People change. Ideas, biology. Good luck. I wish the best for you, Amelia. Let's see what this happening lady has to say.
As a woman and a queer person, I am...
Oh, God. As soon as they opened with that, as a woman and as a queer person, I bet she can't even define what a woman is, but... Let's listen to what she has to say. As soon as they have that accent like that.
Absolutely disgusted by the comments that this man made during his commencement speech. I also am disgusted that the Kansas City Chiefs management has not taken action to reprimand and ideally remove him from the team.
You see where this is going? He said some things that they don't agree with, and now they want him to lose their job. They want to censor him. They want to quiet him. They want to send a message that no one is allowed to speak out against their religion because this woke religion is fucking everything, man. And this lady who, oh God, she's awful. Like, she just wants silence, and she wants to feel that power that she did something. Because as a woman and a queer person, shut the fuck up.
You are actively giving a platform and millions of dollars to a man that doesn't believe women should be more than just housewives, and he doesn't believe that gay people should exist.
Okay.
It's 20.
I will agree that he probably doesn't think gay people should exist. Which we still have to get to the LGBTQ part of this, because I think that's a big part in what he said, and a big part of what I don't agree with, right, is because he's saying stuff about pride and gay people and all that shit, which we'll get into that.
2024.
Okay, shut up. Let's see what Fivehead has to say. Notice it's a bunch of white women.
My name is Kendall, and I served active duty in the Air Force for 6 years as a Mandarin Chinese translator, got honorably discharged, and am now a first responder. I'm also an 80% disabled military veteran, and as a female veteran, I get overlooked and challenged all the time. And
I'm guessing yes, but also, never mind.
I'm sure that somebody like Harrison would claim to be very pro-veteran and very pro-troops.
Yeah.
So I really don't appreciate him insinuating that my time would have been better spent being married and popping out babies rather than serving my country. So, yeah, thanks, Harrison.
Oh my God, the entitlement. Patronizing. Like, bro, he didn't even say that.
The name speaks for itself. Sympathy to his wife.
I don't think sympathy to his wife. His wife is living as a millionaire, fucking enjoying her life as a mother. Let's see what this one says.
He's trash.
Great argument.
If he can say discriminatory and misogynistic shit at a graduation ceremony, he deserves the consequences.
By the way, Kansas City is not gonna. Why would they get rid of him? He's an amazing kicker, from what I hear. Like, that's not gonna happen. And they released their statement saying that's him, that's not us. We believe in inclusion, which I'm all about inclusion too. Like, I have nothing against that. Like, I don't want anybody thinking that I'm not into that. But he didn't say fucking women should be in the kitchen all the time. He said that's another option. And that's a good thing in the eyes of the Lord, right? So see what this fucking winner has to say.
Yeah, so I'm going to just say this real quick. Your ass need to be removed. If you really think women still belong in the kitchen barefoot, you were stupid as hell. I don't care what religion you part of. Hope your ass get knocked off the team. Hope your ass possibly learns a lesson and change yourself. All
right. So, okay, so... I do want to. Where is his? I do want to see this part where. Okay, so let's see. Harrison butt kicker. Anti-LGBTQ. Let's look into that a little bit, and then we gotta move on from this. This is page 6. This is the full thing. You should be ashamed of yourself. Okay, let's see this.
Let's provide an update.
The world around us says that we should keep our beliefs to ourselves whenever they go against the tyranny of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
On Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker, who attacks DEI, and much more, like...
While COVID might have played a large role throughout your formative years, it is not unique. Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy.
Listen, I don't know why he brought up COVID, but yeah, it did negatively impact a lot of people, and a lot of people are still crazy from that. And by the way, never mind.
Euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder.
He would also attack women's rights behind the shield of religion.
I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I have a wife.
How is that attacking women if it's just his wife?
Who leans into her vocation. Girl I met in band class back in middle school.
TYT, friends. Look, he's
would
crying.
convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
He applauds women only for staying in the kitchen.
I'm certain the reporters at the AP could not have imagined that their attempt to rebuke and embarrass places and people like those here at Benedictine wouldn't be met with anger, but instead met with excitement and pride.
Right.
Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it, but the true God-centered pride that is cooperating with the Holy Ghost to glorify Him. Reading that article now shared all over the world, we see that in the complete surrender of self.
And there it is. That's where he shit on LGBTQ, which, again, I'm not, shut the fuck up. Who cares? Again, I don't care, right? Like, I don't care that there are racist people out there talking on the internet. Who gives a shit? Harrison Butker. And by the way, they have large followings too. You should go on X if you don't think that racists have fucking large followings. They have huge followings. Harrison Butker does too. He has a huge platform. I don't generally see him promoting terrible things, right? He doesn't look at LGBTQ as something that is right, you know, like he sees it as a sin, is what he said. And that's just his thoughts, right? Who cares? I'm sure he knows a gay dude. I'm sure he's, you know, I don't know. I can't speak for Harrison Butker, right? Like, I don't know how he treats homosexuals. If he's out there beating up gays, right? Like, then throw the dude in jail or something. But he's literally said one line about it. And I'm not sure if he says more about it. Well, let's see.
And in turning towards Christ, you will find happiness.
He would attack Pride Month.
To the gentleman here today, part of what plagues our society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. Be unapologetic in your masculinity, fighting against the cultural emasculation of men. Do hard things. Never settle for what is easy. You might have a talent that you don't necessarily enjoy, but if it glorifies God, maybe you should lean into that over something that you might think suits you better.
He plays up the unfounded right-wing mantra of men can't be men anymore.
As men, we set the tone of the culture, and when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos.
Of course, that guy who's this dude from TYT, of course, he would say that because he's a fucking cuck. But I don't think that's what he's saying when he's talking about men and masculinity. Like, he's talking about just let men be men. Stop trying to tear them down as if they're doing something wrong by being a man. He did speak out against Pride Month. I agree with that. And I disagree with his views on that because it's based out of some fucking book that was, by the way, the Bible was a big giant game of telephone until, and it wasn't written until like 100 or so years after the Jesus existed. So it's just, and by the way, there's stories that are just ripped off from other stories throughout history's religions, like the birth of Christ and the Virgin Mary and all that. Those are tropes that you see that span way beyond it. So look, I'm not fucking here for the Bible told me to hate gays, so I hate gays argument. I condemn that. But I don't care if fucking he wants to stick to his religion and say that he thinks that being gay is a sin, because in the Bible, it clearly says that being gay is a sin. Okay? So that, again, I came up Catholic. I came up very Catholic. So breaking away with that, by the way, which was, I took a bunch of LSD and I was like, wait, none of this makes sense. Yeah, I don't agree with that, but he does, and that's fine. Who gives a shit? Now, I suppose the argument is that he's speaking harmful against the gays because now people who love Harrison Butker are gonna go out and fucking drag a gay dude to death behind their pickup truck or something, right? And you put gays in harm by allowing him to have a platform. That is the cost of freedom of speech, and I don't believe that that's what Harrison Butker's speech is going to do. By the way, he didn't say go out and kill gay people. He didn't say that gay people should be eradicated from Earth. He just said it's a sin. He said it was a sin. I want to hear what else this fucking turd ball said.
Chaos set in. This absence of men in the home is what plays a large role in the violence we see all around the nation.
And he's not wrong about that, right?
Other countries do not have nearly the same absentee father rates as we find here in the U.S., and a correlation could be made in their drastically lower violence rates as well.
And willfully washes his hands clean when it comes to violence because of absentee fathers.
Wait a second. This dude is acting like this shit doesn't exist. Crime in single mother households. Let's see what it says, right? State-by-state analysis by Heritage Scholars indicate that a 10% increase in the percentage of children living in single-parent homes leads typically to a 17% increase in juvenile crime. The rate of violent teenage crime corresponds with the numbers of families abandoned by fathers. The Heritage Foundation, are they considered, let me see. Let's see if they're the Heritage Foundation racist. Let's see if it comes up. Purging whiteness to purge capitalism. The right way to fight racism. I don't know if the Heritage Foundation is something that people look at as terrible. The Heritage Foundation is anti-DEI crusade. By the way, this DEI thing is being abandoned in droves. By corporate entities and such. So that's the Heritage Foundation. Take that for whatever you want. Follow a single mother homes. This is the fixedfamilycourts.com. This looks like this is .gov. Here you go. Single parent families, juvenile crimes. Here's the abstract. The Journal of Research in Crime and Delinquency reports that the most reliable indicator of violent crime in a community is the proportion of fatherless families. Fathers typically offer this is from our government, and this is back from 1997. Fathers typically offer economic stability, a role model for boys, greater household security, and reduced stress for mothers. This is especially true for families with adolescent boys, the most crime-prone cohort. Children from single-parent families are more prone than children from two-parent families to use drugs, be gang members, be expelled from school, be committed to reform institutions, to become juvenile murderers. Single parenthood inevitably reduces the amount of time a child has in interaction with someone who is attentive to the child's needs, including the provision of moral guidance and discipline. Okay, so this is from our Justice Department. This is from, I don't know. There's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of evidence out there that points to this to be true. And of course, if you're woke and you say, if you're not woke and you're saying that, then of course you're racist or you're misogynist or you're a piece of shit. Again, I don't agree with everything that fucking fuck bucket said, right? I'm not. But he has the right to say it. He's talking to his own people. He's Catholic. Respect his religion. That is the fundamental basis of why this country was started. If we have to respect and we have to censor our speech to placate to a minority of fucking extremists in their beliefs, then don't you think the same is afforded to those who think differently from you in a country that's based on freedom of religion? It's ridiculous. Kansas City mayor after X account post about Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker. In a since deleted post, the city named Butker's city of residence, something A.G. Bailey said amounted to doxing. So the city took it upon themselves to go after Butker and dox him, which it's not really doxing, but it makes a good headline. The Attorney General of Missouri is demanding information about the circumstances of a post shared on the X social media platform by the official City of Kansas City account that stated Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker's city of residence. The post, since deleted, noted the Kansas City suburb where Butker lives, which has a population of more than 100,000. The city's account later posted a message saying, "We apologize for the previous post." In the press release, Missouri AG Andrew Bailey said that the post appeared to be in retaliation for the controversial remarks Butker made during the commencement speech at Benedictine College. Bailey also posted to X directly, stating he believed Butker had been doxxed for daring to express his religious beliefs. Doxing is an internet term. Yeah, we know. Missourians of faith deserve to know why Kansas City officials decide to attack Mr. Butker for his deep-held religious beliefs. Bailey said in release, "My office will not tolerate religious discrimination from city officials." The mayor needs to immediately turn over his office communications related to this post. The spokesperson for Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas' office did not immediately respond to the request for comment. Butker's remarks, which include... Okay, we know that. Never more proud of Harrison. Let me see. So, what did they say? The post since deleted noted the Kansas City suburb where... Okay, so they just noted what suburb he lived in, which has 100,000 people. That's not really doxing, right? That's just saying he lives in a certain area of the city. They didn't give out any, pertinent information of where him and his family reside. So, a big nothing burger, but they are investigating it. And why is city officials doing this anyways? Right? Like, shut the fuck up and do you. Anyways, so yeah, Taylor Swift. The Swifties are mad. Wait a second. Get out of here. No thanks. Shut up. So angry Taylor Swift fans call Chiefs Harrison Butker the smallest man to ever live. The controversial commencement speech, Kansas City. Yeah, we know that. What did they say? Oh my God. Well, wow. Yikes. These are the Swifties. Oh my, okay. Let me see what this is.
Today, congratulations on...
Okay, it's stupid. All the Swifties trying to figure out how to support the Chiefs next season. The toxic anti-woman Harrison Butker commencement speech. They're all like, how are we going to do this? I'll let the Swifties handle Harrison Butker. Swifties, time to assemble and descend on Harrison Butker, which Swifties are notoriously ruthless when it comes to canceling people who speak out against their leader and goddess, that is Taylor Swift. So, yeah, you pissed off the Swifties, you pissed off a bunch of people, but good for him. Good for him. Piss people off. At least people are talking about these things. It is sad, though, that we can't have a conversation without someone losing their job. But that's it on this one. I love you guys. We'll be following this, see where it goes. But, who knows? We'll see you next time. Love you guys. Bye-bye.